So, BRICS currency is almost ready, confirms a Russian economist. This is an update that came from watcher.guru. I'm going to link the article in the description below for you to do your own research and your update, get your updates. And, this is the update the world economy isn't spewing all over, right? We are being distracted in a lot of ways by war that is being orchestrated for the benefit of power and money and greed. And instead of us knowing exactly what is happening, we are being inundated with smoke signals and things that are pulling us away from the global shift that has been happening but is really happening. And I'm also going to link below a video that I saw on Instagram that was a great analysis of the economic interest and motive behind what is happening in the current wars that are happening in Syria, in Gaza and Palestine, and as well as Ukraine. And you make your own judgment, your own analysis. But in this video, I want to share with you what's happening with BRICS and where we are. So welcome back to the channel. My name is Ashley. On my channel, Ashley in Africa, I talk about my experience of living and doing business here on the continent. I'm also the creator of Africa Investors Academy, which is a membership community of entrepreneurs and investors from all over the world who are building location, remote ready businesses for the growth of Africa. And are literally moving from the West, whether it's the US, Canada, or Europe, to countries in Africa to build community, build and foster entrepreneurship, and build generational wealth. So if that sounds interesting to you, subscribe to this channel and get on our email list at africainvestorsacademy.com to learn more. So Russian economist Sergey Glaziev is he made a huge announcement last week on the development of the upcoming BRICS currency. And I have notes, so that's why I'm looking down. Basically, this currency aims to replace the US dollar as the world reserve currency. And you guys have been hearing about this. Some of you guys aren't necessarily in agreement that this is going to happen. I don't necessarily think it's happening tomorrow, but the forces are coming together. We're seeing Iran being admitted to BRICS. Iran is one of the largest holders of oil in the Middle East, with Russia being the largest, right? And Russia is the R in BRICS. And oil has always been an interest of the West. And so these things matter. I want you to do your own research. I'm the economist that's going to tell you what's what as it pertains to life on the continent of Africa and how that impacts the everyday person, not necessarily who is really strong in giving you historic analysis and the fundamentals on political power, right? This is me sharing my interest in the relation to African people, for our sovereignty and our ultimate freedom, right? And the ability to have a choice-based life. And so with the idea of BRICS currency being ready to replace the US dollar currency, there are some technicalities that are happening. He's saying it's almost ready. And these groups now are seriously considering de-dollarization initiatives to lift their native economies. The whole purpose of the BRICS Alliance is to allow developing nations to develop by using their own resources and their own currency. And so the ways of the past where the West has made it so that trade can only happen in its currency, which is the largest printed currency in the world. I mean, sources are saying that the US has printed more currency this past quarter for the conflicts that is happening it's not even conflict, some would call it a genocide, the racial cleansing of Palestine in the history of years, like more. And when you have a country that is able to simply print currency that controls the world economy, it's not sustainable, and countries are not going for it. So this move could definitely be disastrous to the US economy, leading to hyperinflation, which the US is experiencing pretty much already, causing job cuts in all sectors. With more countries looking to join BRICS and take part in the de-dollarization efforts. Developing countries want to strengthen their economies, and they want to strengthen them by first ditching the US dollar for cross-border transactions. And, the US Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen acknowledged that when the US passes these sanctions on countries, it's not necessarily the best look. And so, it's putting the US in these really compromising situations. The veil is being unveiled and lifted, and people are paying attention. So de-dollarization is not an objective of different organizations or certain countries. It's not the objective, it's simply the reality. And the dollar in our days is a very troubled currency. This is from the Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman, Maria Zakharova. I hope I said it right, Zakharova. And sometimes I think we hear these countries, we assume that people from Russia are bad, people from China are bad. This is as an American because we have been painted a picture of what these countries represent. And I invite you to take an objective look at that and understand what the history of our country and what they've done to lead us to this place. And so it's going down. I'm going to link this article for you below. I want you to weigh in on it. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you feel about this. How are you preparing? This is not a video to scare you or to invoke fear. I was talking to a cousin the other day, and, just this fear of not being able to take her retirement abroad is somewhat paralyzing her, like many people, where they feel like, well, eventually the dollar isn't going to be worth anything. And I think because we have this access to information, it's in our best interest to be active and take action despite the fear. Bring it with us. We've been conditioned for so long to do things that we thought were right, to then be revealed that nobody knows what they're doing anyway. People are telling us things, they're telling us what to do. Our parents are raising us. And in fact, people are just people trying to do their best. And we now have an opportunity to take our futures into our own hands and take action on it. And so this is not encouraging you to be fearful of what is happening with the US dollar, but to be aware and to do your own research, because BRICS is a serious economic conglomerate with huge intentions for the benefit of their people, and no longer are the forces that have been in power for decades and centuries going to be the power players that they have been for our children's generation. And so with the education and information that we all have access to, it is upon us to be obedient, to tap into our spiritual centers, into our higher belief systems, and do something about it. So if you want more information, I'll link a couple of the articles below for you to check out. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking and what you want to do about it. We'd love to hear from you. Like this video, share it with someone who would find value within it. And until the next time, I'll see you soon.